Hey guys, welcome back. I've got a video here from Kitchen Sanctuary. One of the subscribers, Sean, suggested some videos. Actually, I think he suggested this video. But it's homemade Cornish pasties, a true British classic. I think he suggested this one after I watched uh the cooking or recipe of the corned beef pasties, which looked super good. Um, so I'm excited to see what this one is. I think he was saying that these Cornish pastries or pasties, sorry, I keep saying pastries. These Cornish pasties are done a very certain way according to like the location of where they where you're doing it, I guess. Um, but yeah, this one I will link this video in the description as always, and along with a link to Patreon and a link of how you can support the channel here on YouTube. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
Chris is so excited that I'm making these homemade Cornish pasties. Welcome back to our kitchen, where we show you how to make delicious, family-friendly recipes. Today I've got a fantastic recipe for homemade Cornish pasties. Chunks of tender, peppery steak with melt-in-your-mouth vegetables, all wrapped up in homemade buttery pastry. We're going to start by making the pastry. Place 450 grams or 3 2/3 of a cup of plain all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a teaspoon of salt into a food processor and give it a quick mix. Add in 125 grams or half a cup plus a teaspoon of cold unsalted butter chopped into chunks, and then whiz it up until you get the texture of breadcrumbs. Add in 2 egg yolks and mix again. Now
So she must be making the actual like pasty, the outside part. I think in the other video we watched, they used the Lidl ones that you could just unroll. I'd probably, if I was going to do it, probably be more likely to do that as well. But I like seeing how it's done authentically.
we're going to add in 125 ml, which is a little over half a cup of cold water, a little bit at a time while the food processor is running. We're just going to go long enough until the dough forms into a ball, so you might not need all the water. Now we wrap the pastry in cling film or wax paper and place in the fridge for about an hour. It's quite a simple pastry to make, but if you don't have the time, you can always use shop-bought short crust pastry. After an hour, take the pastry out of the fridge and preheat your oven to 180°C or 350°F, and then we're going to sprinkle a little flour on 2 baking sheets to stop the pasties from sticking. Roll the pastry out on a lightly floured surface until it's about 3 mm thick. Cut circles into the dough using a plate as a template. The plate needs to be about 20 to 21 centimetres or 8 inches in diameter. You should be able to get about 6 pasties out of this dough. You probably need to re-roll a couple of times. There we go. Now we're going to make the filling for the Cornish pasties. I've got 450 grams or a pound of peeled potatoes here that have been diced into 1 centimetre cubes, and I'm going to add them to the bowl. To that we'll add 150 grams or a third of a pound of swede or rutabaga, again peeled and finely diced. We'll also add 150 grams or a third of a pound of diced onion and 300 grams or 2/3 of a pound of sliced skirt or sirloin steak. And then we'll mix that together with a teaspoon each of salt and black pepper. Now take one of your pastry circles and place a really good spoonful of mixture into half of the pastry. So you want to pile it up quite high, you need it to be packed full, but you also need a border of about 2 centimetres all the way around when you fold it. Next, add a teaspoon and a half of unsalted butter onto the mixture. Brush a little egg wash around the edge of the circle. Now fold the pastry over until the edges meet and you have a semicircle. Now you want to firmly seal and crimp the crust with your fingers. Apparently this thick crust originates from the coal miners who used to eat the dinner with their hands and then discard the crust as it'd be covered in coal dust. Place your pasty onto a baking.
Looks really good. I like the way she did that. I've never seen that done because I don't bake a lot of stuff, so I don't usually do that. I have a cousin that went to school for that, and she's like really, really good at it. Um, but this looks really, really good. Yeah, we just don't we don't have anything like this. Like if we do like any kind of pasty, like ours are called pastries, and it's sweet stuff that's in there. There's not any kind of like savory one, which I would personally really enjoy.
Tray and make 2 little holes in the top using a sharp knife to let out the steam. Repeat these steps to make the remaining pasties. Brush egg wash over the top of the pasties and place in the oven for 45 to 50 minutes until golden brown. Take out of the oven and leave to cool for 10 minutes before eating, or you can eat them cold. And there you go, that's how to make delicious homemade Cornish pasties, a British classic and arguably one of the most famous foods to come out of the south of England.
Oops, that looked really good.
Chris
What
is
was she dipping that in? Was it just ketchup, I guess? I don't know what other kind of red sauce. I can't imagine. And your all's cocktail sauce is different than ours. I don't know if it was something other than ketchup. You think that she was dipping that in? That looked super good. I can imagine just eating that even with like pouring gravy or something over it. I think would be really good. But that looked absolutely delicious. Let me know if if you guys do it differently, if you put different stuff in these, or if it's always this, if that's what makes it a Cornish pasty. Um, but yeah, that looked incredible. I wish we had these savory pasties here because I feel like we're just really missing out. Um, I personally love really savory stuff like this. So this is right up my alley. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you, Sean, for sending the video. Hit the like button, hit subscribe. And yeah, guys, have an awesome, awesome November 5th.